Okay, for some reason I'm having a ton of trouble with my computer itself, so I'm using my cell phone to record this. I'm using my own personal laptop as well. So the things I'm going to talk about in this video, I'm going to be implementing on the church computer. It's just not all ready there yet, but it will be super soon because this is super, super easy to set up and super easy to do once I do have it in place and you get to play around with it a little bit. All right, so as you know, and as you're already used to, we have the lyrics and stuff like that go up here, lyrics and verses and backgrounds and stuff like that on ProPresenter, and that's fantastic. All right, so we have that all set up, but I want to show you a couple of features that I found out about that are really, really easy to access and really easy to take control of, and that is messaging features and even a stage screen. So as far as the stage screen is concerned, we're going to be using the two TVs that are facing backwards towards the stage that the audience, doesn't see for the stage screen. And I'm going to show you how powerful a system that is going to be. All right, so let's start off with these tabs here. So, you have the screen over here on this side, you have your lyrics and, all that kind of stuff over here. Okay. So on this side, okay, we have music. We can actually fill this in with music files, like audio files. I want to record some of our worship, break it down to be, to include some of the songs that, we've done the best at least amount of mistakes and that sort of thing. So we can kind of populate this list and play some music, before service, after service, that sort of thing. All right. Next up, we have this stage setup, which I'll talk to you about in just a minute. Here we have timers, which I'm also going to talk about in a minute. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and stop the timer. And let's see, does this refresh it? I don't know. I'm still getting used to timers. Let's see, here we go, and let's get that started again. All right. Well, anyway, so we got timers. We have here messaging, and we've got two more tabs that I'm not going to really mess with right now. All right, messaging is the thing that I really want to focus on, because once you have messaging in place, and I have two messages here that I have saved. Here, let me pick this up a little bit because I was doing some other stuff. Let me actually, there we go, that's better. So that's a full screen. All right, so with messaging, what happens is I can send a message to the congregation. Most importantly, most prominently, I'm thinking about the kids. So when the kids are acting up and the parents need to know, I have a saved parent number message here. And let's see, child number 12 is misbehaving. So they just will find a way to communicate that up to the overhead. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say show. And that's going to pop up right there. So let's say we're in the middle of worship and that kind of thing, but it's just they're unruly during worship. I'm going to go ahead and click show. And it shows up there for a period of 5 seconds, and then it goes away. And then everyone else can enjoy worship, but the parents will see that number and they'll make their way downstairs. It's the idea, since everyone is looking at these screens anyway. All right, another saved message I have here is if somebody leaves their lights on, you just replace this here with whatever their car is and license plate number, and same thing. You go ahead and click show. And it's going to show, hey, your lights are on, Honda Civic, blah, 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 blah. That's a made-up license plate. And that shows for just a little bit longer so people can try and figure out if that's their car or not. And, again, it doesn't interrupt the flow of worship or anything like that. Next thing I wanted to really demonstrate was notice that this is all caps. This is all caps right here. That's not how we're typing them in, but it's how the theme is pushing it to the screens in the sanctuary. When I go over to look at what the live stream is receiving, see they're getting the text as it's typed in. That's what we want. We don't want the live stream to get all caps, just because it looks really bad on the screen. Because a picture, behind all that, you have, the camera view. right? So you have the live camera, and then if you have if you have the all caps on top of the camera feed, it's just not a good look. So type the songs, as is, as you need them to be, and it will automatically go to caps on the sanctuary screens. It'll automatically go to lowercase on the live stream. This brings up the next thing I want to talk about, which is we're going to start to utilize the screens that are facing backwards towards the stage. That's going to be our stage screen, right? So with the stage screen, that comes with all kinds of useful features. All right, one is, notice, no extra fluff or flare. This doesn't interrupt, by the way, the sanctuary view. Sanctuary gets to see all this pretty fanciness. What we're going to get to see on the stage is the exact words, nice and clean, crisp, and clear. This is the last slide. Let me go to the second to last slide, and you'll see some of the power here already. One is we see the slide that we're on. This white text is what we're singing right now. And the next slide is what's coming up next. So then there's no confusion. You don't have to figure out, wait, what was the next grouping of words? Where am I going to now? So that's nice and easy. Now, if the worship leader wants to go, if they see this slide and want to go somewhere else, all the worship leader has to do is say, okay, so praise one. So while we're singing, even when I'm going through, the worship leader can say, because I owe it all to you, and that'll signal us on the overhead to say, okay, so that's the next slide that I'm going to. So any instant changes like that can be taken care of by a quick prompting from the worship leader. But aside from that, you click on a slide, and then you know exactly what's happening next. Also notice that there's a current time here, so we don't have to try and peer between the screens to see what time it is, to see if it's time to wrap it up, extend, or whatever we might have. See, I got something else there. All right, and also we have another timer here, which is at 1:14. I kind of pause that. That's this timer here that I was talking about. This is worship timer. But really, we can set up any timer we want up there. And notice that what's going to happen is it's going to continue to count down. This is extremely useful if we have guest speakers, or even if pastor just wants to know, how much time do I have left, for this message. And then, as the pastor's going through the message, let's say we've got a verse up there, which, by the way, again, okay, so here's Genesis 1:2 on the stage screen. The speaker is going to see the current verse, Genesis 1:2. They're also going to see the next verse. So they can decide ahead of time, do I want to continue to go into that next verse, or not? And then, they can. And of course, if they do, then, the overhead is going to continue on and say, okay, there's verse 3. And then now while they're reading verse 3, they can decide if they want to move into verse 4, etc. So it's nice and easy there. And the preacher has 12 seconds left on the clock. So that's going to be a nice prompting there. Of course, what happens, once this goes all the way down to 0, is it's going to start to show how much time they're going over. So kind of a, hey, let's hurry up and wrap this up sort of thing. But it will help keep things on time and orderly without the, anybody in the sanctuary even having a clue, or without anyone on live stream even having a clue as to what's going on. So a ton of communication here. Last thing I want to mention about the stage screen slide, really cool, because for anyone doing announcements, let's say, so over here on the stage side, okay, so here's a stage screen. We have the stage layout box here, and then I can type in a message, which I already typed in here. So this way, if there's like something that's really super important that the person up on the platform needs to know, needs to communicate, we type in a message here, click the show button, and they'll see on both screens out of the corner of their eyes, very hard to miss that flashing, red says, hey, there's a Honda Accord blocking the driveway with license plate, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, if we have emergency messages that we need passer to know, or we need any guest speakers to know, or we need the announcements person to know, it's just a matter of, typing something into this box, hitting show, and then that's going to flash on both screens. So that summarizes what I have. Some of the things, some more features that we have available at our fingertips. Let me know if you have any questions on it. I think at this point, all we need is just a quick and easy way for the children's church ministry to be able to communicate upstairs, the child number that needs to get put up on the screen. Again, have any questions, let me know. God bless. I'll see you in service.